Sihle Nxumalo grew up between an orphanage, homes of generous people, and the streets. In May this year, at the age of 35, his life changed.
On the day that I collected my ID, I broke down. I cried in front of everybody. Yes, I was reminded particularly on the time when I tried to take my own life, when I tried to kill myself because I thought it's hopeless, life is hopeless, there's no use living, I will never amount to anything, so I'd rather just not live anymore.
He says his mother struggled to raise both him and his brother and place him in an orphanage without any documentation. He was able to go through most of his schooling.
And I only realized that I had a problem when it was time to go to matric. When I was in grade 11, they started telling us to apply for our IDs, and that's when I realized I had a problem.
He never managed to write matric, and since then his mission was to get documented. It's a journey that's taken 17 years to be exact.
That process involved me going back to where I started school, getting a letter from the school. It involved the counselor from Durban who knew my mother and her children. I had to get a counselor's letter. It involved me trying to find my mother's sister. I found her after a few years, and we had to do a DNA test to prove that I'm her relative. The reason why it took so many years is I ended up living on the streets of Johannesburg, and I couldn't do anything for myself. Basically, without an ID, you can't get a job, you can't find a place to stay, you can't do anything. And so I used to do recycling.
With the help of civil rights group Lawyers for Human Rights and his voice to tell his story, Nxumalo's long struggle finally came to an end. And now he's also a registered voter.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the 1st of November. Makes me feel happy. I feel like I've got a little bit of power. It makes me feel human. Makes me feel like a citizen, like I'm accepted. Because without the ID, man, I felt like a stray animal.
He says it's very important that he participate in this election.
Because I care. I care about people. I care about the situation in our country. And I've been through the suffering, and I've been around many people who suffered. I know what it's like, and so I feel like if there's any way that I can make a difference, no matter how small, even if it's just one vote, I should do something to make a change.
Nxumalo now works at a local church as a caretaker. He's also paid it forward by adopting a son who was also not registered. Nxumalo says he feels as though he's already far behind in life. He still has ambitions to complete his matric, get a driver's license and study further. He says come November 1st, he plans to be first in line to make his mark. For Newzroom Afrika on channel 405, I'm Zikhona Tshona in Johannesburg.